President Cyril Ramaphosa has signed off on the deployment of some 3,300 South African National Defence Forces to deal with illegal mining in South Africa. Now, the deployment under Operation Prosper will carry out law enforcement duties alongside the SAPS for at least 6 months. The National Association of Artisanal Miners, however, believes this opens them up for targeted attacks as policies and frameworks have not yet been made clear. Let's speak now to the National Association of Artisanal Miners Spokesperson in Mpumalanga, Zethu Hlatshwayo. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. What do you make of this decision? I mean, it's not the first time that we've seen the SANDF deployed. They were deployed in 2019 to the Western Cape to fight gang violence under the same operation. What's your take on this deployment this time around?
Good morning to you and good morning to all viewers at home. As the National Association of Artisanal Miners, we are very much disappointed and saddened by this situation of the deployment of the army, because we all know that the army was trained to defend our country, and our borders. But the army being deployed on the mines really shows that the government does really not want to find a permanent solution for this challenge, because this problem really can be mitigated by working together with the DMRE and making sure that the policy that is already in place, for artisanal and small-scale mining is implemented as soon as possible, because now innocent people are going to be affected. Men and women who want to put bread on the table will be affected. And we all know the job situation and the job crisis in the township level, how much people are desperate, and how much unemployment rate is in our country. So deploying soldiers is going to create unnecessary tension, and it will really make most of the people, hungry. We all know that the army was trained really to use maximum force, when dealing with issues. They are not going there to be negotiating and finding an amicable solution for the challenges that we're facing. The other issue is that we feel that this money that is being used was supposed to be spent and used for rehabilitation of these abandoned, derelict, oilless mines, because these mines are spread across all over the country. If the army goes to this mine, the artisanal miners and the miners will go to the other mine, and they will open another hole. So a permanent solution will be to include artisanal miners in to make sure that they are also given an opportunity to work and put bread on the table. That way we can be able to eliminate and distinguish between artisanal miners who want to put bread on the table and syndicates who are stealing the minerals of the country.
And how would that be distinguished? I mean, how do we tell the two apart? You speak about artisanal miners and syndicates, which speaks to illegal mining, essentially, which, the SANDF have been tasked with curbing illegal mining activity across the country.
Yeah, I think if we can just go back, there was a Human Rights Commission a report that was done on artisanal and small-scale mining, and there are recommendations that were made there that there is a huge potential to deal with the issue of illegal mining by formalizing the sector. So that is one thing. But we have also done evidence-based research with Wits University, looking at artisanal and small-scale mining, where we found out that not all of the artisanal miners are foreign nationals. There are a lot of South Africans that are putting bread on the table in this sector. So if we can follow those recommendations, we can be able to distinguish. But now, because the army is being deployed, as I'm speaking to you now, there's a policy in place for artisanal and small-scale mining, and NAAM has been very much instrumental in making sure that policy becomes a reality for artisanal miners. But that policy has not yet been implemented, and the artisanal and small-scale mining cooperatives, I'm talking about your IKEM, I'm talking about your Kosh artisanal miners, Machabeng, Port Nolos. All these cooperatives have formalized themselves to distinguish themselves from illegal miners or syndicates. But our branches are not yet happy, because we have not yet got our permits, so that people will know that artisanal and small-scale miners do have permits. These are the people, then they can be able to be spared by what is going to happen, because now the army is not going to know who is who. They are going to treat everyone the same. So this approach is the one that is going to cause more problems than solution for our country and artisanal miners specifically.
This operation called Operation Prosper is expected to run well into April of 2024. That's a long time. What are you looking to do as an association to try and get this message across, because you're so disgruntled by it? You think it's a bad idea?
So I think our first point of action is that we consolidate, to go back to all our branches and to make sure that we make sure that we take forward issues and matters that matters the most to artisanal miners, which are permits. So our first stop is going to be DMRE, to make sure that because DMRE, when you look at the regional levels, they do have one person that is responsible for artisanal and small-scale mining, and we find that they are understaffed. They cannot be able to satisfy the needs of the sector. Even if you go to the national level, it's the same situation. So by deploying the army, instead of deploying and employing people to work at the DMRE and make sure that artisanal and small-scale miners processes are fast-tracked, they are prioritized, and permits are issued to artisanal and small-scale mining. I mean, if I'm talking to you now, there's about 234 permits that are issued in Mpumalanga alone, and all of those permits that were issued are not issued for artisanal and small-scale mining. They're issued for big and large-scale mining companies. And remember, these big mining companies are the ones that left these mines abandoned, ownerless, and derelict. So we have a situation now that illegal mining is out of control because it is them that we're supposed to rehabilitate. Let us use this money that is supposed to go to the army to rehabilitate these mines and create job opportunities for the communities that live in those areas where these mines are. And remember, these communities are also human beings. If you look at the Constitution, it talks about correcting the injustices of our past. So if now our people, if they want to participate meaningfully in working in the sector of minerals and resources of our country, they are being decriminalized. They are being criminalized. They are being, now army is being deployed towards them. Yeah. So that will tell you that our country is going to have unemployment rising even more, because people are mostly working in this informal sector. So we are really missing an opportunity by not making sure that we are using monies that are available to rehabilitate, restore this land, and revitalize this old mining distressed town, because people are going there because they're desperate. Yeah. There are no options, there are no solutions. So the only solutions is that we can use the same mines and these abandoned mines so that we can be able to turn the tide of unemployment, poverty, and correct the injustices of our past.
How effective, though, Zethu, we know that over the past few months, community members have really, been severely affected in terms of violent attacks and all of that by illegal miners, attacked in their communities and made to feel uncomfortable and also fearing for their safety because of the turf wars that take place. Don't you think that in that effect, the SANDF may perhaps be effective in ensuring a sense of security around communities which are living in fear?
No, what we believe in is that the people that are working in these mines, they are human beings, they are individuals, they are men and women, they are families, and they are loved, they are friends, and they are living in the communities where they are working. So all over the years, there's always been people that were working as artisanal miners, and they were also living in peace and harmony with those communities. We've done evidence-based research with Wits University where we were looking at not just the participants, who is participating in the sector, as I was telling you now, that is not all artisanal miners are foreigners. There's a lot of South Africans, there's men, there's women, there's elder people, there's young people also that are working in the sector. We've also found out through that evidence-based research, we can be able, I think we will share with all the media houses if you don't have it, that looks at the chain of distribution. Who is really benefiting out of artisanal and small-scale mining, where NAAM branches exist. And then we have realized that it is also the communities, the business owners, the tax shop owners, and the household where they are renting their houses that are benefiting out of the sector. And you can see that the economy of artisanal and small-scale mining circulates amongst those communities where they are working. That's why you find that the situation of unemployment is not really that much of a challenge, because people have managed to create job opportunities for themselves where there is none. So when we're talking about artisanal miners, we're talking about really about your ultimate entrepreneurs, people who are able to do business for themselves, working in teams sometimes, because most of the time artisanal miners don't work in silos. We work in teams. So people have teams of from 3 and up to 50, you know. So those people, all of them depend on working together in peace and harmony to sustain themselves and their families. Yeah. So those are some of the things that we know for a fact. If we can be able to legalize, regulate and formalize the sector, communities tend to benefit the most, more than everyone. I'm not talking about the situation of unemployment and the economy, because you would know that if you can have a central buying system whereby artisanal miners can be able to mine their coal, their diamond, their gold, like in the Kimberley process, where our brothers and sisters of Batupile are trading. You know, that is a fair market, it's an open market, it's a legal market. We need to have a lot of those markets so that there is a legal market for the minerals that come underneath the soil of our land. Because remember, these minerals belong to the South African people, does not belong to the government. The government is the custodian. They are supposed to make sure that the minerals are shared evenly amongst the communities, especially correcting the injustice of our past, because we all know where we come from as South Africa. So it is important that we make sure that we don't leave these people behind. And what about Section 9 of the Constitution talking about equality? What about my right to freedom of choice, of trade, of occupation, and of association? Yes. That is my right. But now, by deploying armies and don't issue permits on the other side, is really taking away my right. My right to life. I will be in danger to be shot and killed because I'm trying to put bread on the table. But I'm not. I'm not. I wanted to comply with the law.
Leave it there for now. But thanking you for your intervention there. National Association of Miners in Mpumalanga, spokesperson Zethu Hlatshwayo, they're just giving reaction as to the decision that has been made now by President Cyril Ramaphosa that 3,300 SANDF members will be roped in and deployed across the country to safeguard and, of course, tackle the scourge of illegal mining.